After much hype and a lot of drama, it seems Rishi Sunak has finally lost the election to become UK's Prime Minister. And he's been trumped by no other than the former Foreign Secretary Liz Truss. And Liz Truss won by a reasonably good margin. It was a high turnout election. She polled over 80,000 votes and he got about 60,000. So what is the reason that Rishi Sunak lost to Liz Truss, who at 47 years of age will become the third female Prime Minister of UK after Margaret Thatcher and Theresa May? The reasons for Rishi Sunak's losses in the election can be said to be multiple, varying from cost of living debate, from the NHS debate, and NHS is the virtual lifeline of UK to asylum seekers, to defence and housing. The plethora of issues were put on the table, they were debated, and he was an equal, or sometimes did come across as somebody who was not as perhaps eloquent on these issues like Liz Truss. But that was not the main issue, because more or less in television debates they seemed to be equal. But there was another issue, and that was of persona, and that is what has hurt Rishi Sunak. Suddenly, midway through the election, a persona or a story was being scripted about Rishi Sunak's persona of being too elitist. And there was some slip of tongues as well. For example, when Rishi Sunak was asked a question about who does he interact with, what does he say? He says most of his friends are rich and famous, or A-listers, or from the wealthy families. And that really hurt his chances, because that was kind of picked and splashed across media as that he's not a common man's person. He's got a billionaire wife, he's got this huge mansion, he's got a swimming pool. He doesn't know what the travails of an ordinary British citizens are. And that, I think, the entire persona that was created by media, whether deliberately or just that it happened to him as a part of a campaign, or it was planted, not planted, whatever it was, but it did actually do him in. The fact that he's married to Akrita Murthy, who's the Infosys boss, Narayan Murthy's daughter, also hurt his chances, especially because she has a non-domicile status. And being non-domicile status, she was not paying taxes in Britain for her incomes abroad. And that is perfectly legal. In United Kingdom, there is a rule that if you are non-domicile, then you do not necessarily have to pay taxation for incomes which are earned abroad. And she had a bill of, if she had paid to Britain, of about £2.1 million per year, which she did not pay because it was perfectly legal. Again, I'm emphasizing that. But it was a huge embarrassment to Rishi Sunak, and the opposition actually picked it within the Conservative Party. That is, this is not a party-to-party election, this is within the party for leadership. Picked it as a point where it seemed like a bad story. The other issue with Rishi Sunak was also of trust. In fact, when Boris Johnson walked out resigning as the Prime Minister, he said, please elect anybody else as the Prime Minister, but not Sunak, meaning not Rishi Sunak, because he felt that he had been backstabbed by his Chancellor, and Rishi Sunak was his Finance Minister. And after Rishi Sunak actually exited, one after the other cabinet ministers also left in protest of Boris Johnson, and the entire government fell apart. So Boris Johnson actually holds Rishi Sunak responsible for his dismissal. In the sense that he himself resigned, but what it means is his government falling apart. So I think it was a trust issue where people thought that he was not loyal to his boss. And there was a headline in The Guardian which says that he who wields the knife does not wear the crown, meaning the person who's not been loyal will never reap the rewards of being disloyal to his prime minister. So that was a major issue. The other issue was of taxation, and that's related with the first point I made of him being looking like an elitist person, somebody who's not connected with the common man. Why? Because through the campaign and whenever he was having conversation about the things that he's going to do if he were elected the prime minister, he did not emphasize enough on cutting down of taxes, whereas Liz Truss was completely committed to a policy of immediate tax cuts and increase in government spending, which actually won the war for her. There was another narrative which was built around Rishi Sunak that he had not given up his affinity or loyalty to United States because he was a green card holder of the US and he had not given it up. But then Rishi Sunak made a public statement and came out as a full disclosure that he had, in fact, the moment he became a finance minister with Boris Johnson, he had given up his green card of the United States. It's a different issue that Rishi Sunak's origin in terms of ethnicity is of Indian origin and that he actually belongs to East Africa where his parents would have migrated, and then he came to Britain and after that he went and got his education in the United States. But the fact of the matter was it looked like there's somebody who's trying to hold on to a green card of United States, meaning of another country, when he actually earns his bread and butter in this country as well as lives here and aspires to be a leader here. So whether or not his ethnicity of not being white and of also this narrative that was built of having affiliation with the United States also did actually hurt him at the end or hurt his chances at the end is anybody's guess, but there are plenty of other reasons which I listed that actually caused Rishi Sunak to lose.